But the first one is the positives of Poland and Poles. What are your favorite things about this country?
The mountains. It's people. I love its weather. Like, I love when it's gray. I love when it's raining, because I'm from the capital, so I don't have this much rain. So I love the rain. I love the snow. I love its culture, its history. It's so rich, and I think that people just must know more about Polish history.
My favorite things, people, because as I told you, once you get to know Polish people, they are very welcoming, and in my experience, because I have had friends, with all sorts of experience, but in my personal experience, every single contact or significant contact that I have with a Polish person is great. They are always helpful to me, they're always nice to me, and for me, that's been like the best out of the best. Second thing is the food. I like the food. And when I was visiting back Colombia, I was craving kapusta, like sauerkraut. And I was like, because the first time I tried, I was like, shit, this, it doesn't taste good. But then I was like, oh, I want some kielbasa with kapusta and all of these things. The food is the second thing. And the third, which is the most important for me, is that it's very peaceful and calm and safe. So I don't have to worry about many things.
It's relatively quiet here. I mean, when you don't go to, let's say, to the Janusz area, yeah, it's quiet. People here are, more or less the same as in Kazakhstan, maybe a little bit more intelligent. More or less stable currency, yeah. That is also nice. Cheap cars, beautiful nature. Also, I like Ryanair in this area.
My favorite things in Poland, that Poles are really polite, and it's really true, because all the time you use przepraszam, dziękuję for everything. Then when I came to Poland, I felt like at home a little bit. Of course, I had some cultural shock, but it was not so intense for me. And yes, and generally the country is really beautiful, really green, and I love the autumn. It's amazing, yellow and green a little bit, and red. It's really beautiful.
The pros will be that Poland is such a beautiful country, and I love that you have all the seasons here. They can really feel them. Like when it's summer, it's really hot. Like now, it's so hot, and winter is like really cold, which is great because I don't like hot weather. In autumn you can see like the leaves falling. It looks really nice. You have rain, so it's really cool. Also, that Poland is really cheap. I would say it's cheaper than Peru. So for us, it's great. I mean, we're students. We also work and we gain really good money. So that's really good for us. And also the thing that I love the most is like traveling around Poland and Europe. It's so cheap, which is great for students, I would say.
I think the wages, for example, are good in Poland comparison to my country. So that was one of the reasons I chose the Poland. Education is okay. I can't tell it's like the best, but it's okay. It's 50-50. And the nature, there are many forests, there are many parks here. That's what I like. You can go out and take some like fresh air. That's the pros for me of Poland.
I have really different experience of Poland than my foreign friends, because mostly they say about Poland that Polish people are cold people, they're not very friendly, and I also heard Samuel saying that Polish people are cold and they're not very open, very friendly. But to my surprise, when I came to Poland, everybody seemed to me a little too open. So I remember I was at the airport, it was my first day in Poland, and people were coming up to me and they wanted to actually take picture even with me, and they watch Turkish series a lot, and they have very good impression of Turkey. Not always, but most of the cases, they know about my culture and how it looks like. So for me, this was a very positive thing because they're really nice to me and they're helping me, friendly, and I like it. I appreciate it the most.
I didn't try that much of national cuisine. I tried, for example, Jurek. I liked it a lot, and I told my mom to recreate it at home, and we'll see what happens. But in terms of cuisine, we have similar dishes like golomki or pierogi or, I don't know, stuff like that, you know. In terms of culture, more or less the same. I like a lot that you have a lot of old-fashioned buildings, a lot of statues to poets, to war heroes and stuff like that. So a lot of streets are named after them, and that's because your country wasn't occupied as much as ours was in the past, in the last like 100 years, let's say. Because our old culture was completely destroyed and was combined, let's say, with our neighbors. So we don't differentiate our culture as much as you do. I like your transportation system. It's progressive, I think. We need to learn a lot from you. About Polish people, I got to know a lot of young and smart people, like Szymon, let's say. But a lot of old people, elders, they are not as progressive, and I didn't like that. What are my favorite things about Poland? I don't really know. I don't really have any, because I don't differentiate Poland and Ukraine that much.
And now, what are the negatives about Poland and Poles?
Let me no. I mean, I think it's everywhere. We all have racism and discrimination in different levels in every country, also in my country. But I think, of course, I have dealt more here in Poland than in my country because I'm a foreigner. But I don't think it's a big deal. What I think has been really a bad thing, it's the process it takes to apply for any kind of document, like your temporary residence.
The bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy, yes, not that. It's just too much. It's a lot of things to do. Even when you want to get your insurance, you need to go to 3 or 4 different places, and sometimes not even the same day. You need to wait for some letters to come to your house, which takes like 15 days. So that's the only thing I don't like about Poland.
Negatives of Poles. Polish people are complaining a lot about everything, about good weather, about bad weather, about, I don't know, totally about everything. I hate it, honestly, because I started to complain again. Also, like, I take some, you know.
The negatives, as I told before, the meals, the food, maybe like for you, for Polish people, of course, they like their foods, but for me, like, we have the different taste, so it's like weird for me. Okay, I will tell something. When I was cooking in my home, like Polish friends came too, and they tried the Azerbaijan food, and they love it. Like, really, they love it. They tell, oh, how do you make it? So I was asking, I am really curious. I want to try and tell me your opinion, and they told it's really like tasty and we like it. So I think Polish people like Turkish and Azerbaijan food, and because of that there are many Turkish kebabs, donars here. yeah, and I don't know, like we are using more meat. We are using a lot, and another unusual thing. For example, it comes from the religion. We are not using the pork. We are not eating pork, but you are eating. So that's like difficult for me sometimes when I go to Biedronka or Auchan, like the Żabka, and I can't find sometimes I'm finding just pork, not like cow meat, let's say. That's also the negative thing for me.
Janusz and Grażyna, Brian's and Jessica's. Also, well, it's not about the whole Poland, but here in Katowice and in Krakow, the air is shit. Also, there are lots of alcoholics. And fuck peace.
The cons, I would say that people are not so open-minded, but it's very understandable because I think it's related to the culture and the past, the history, everything that's happened with Poland, especially in Katowice or this area of Silesia. But yeah, I would say that the only con that I can think of is people not being so open-minded with foreigners in general, I would say. Yeah.
Politics. I think because I come from a context in Latin America where populism and these politics who are always dividing people, telling you, oh, these are the bad guys, these are the people who are doing wrong, but they just want to divide your attention, and they form a speech, a certain speech of hatred towards certain people, because either it's left or right, both wings will always direct their hatred towards somebody and distract you from the real problems, from the problems of unemployment, problems of lack of industry development and all these things. So these, like the current government in Poland, and even the biggest opposition they have, they are all populist, and it's not good, So you can see how the politics change into not accepting immigrants, anti-LGBT movements, and going backwards in certain matters of human rights and all these things. So it's never good. I think it's the biggest issue about living in Poland, the current politics.
Elder people, they are more conservative. I'm against conservatism in general, so older people are against immigration, they are against basic human rights, they are probably religious. I'm against religion in every people's lives, every person's lives. And one thing I noticed, Poles, they, in the buses, let's say, because I traveled a lot by the buses, they just have a can of beer with them and they just open it and drink it in the bus, just like that, casual stuff. And it happened on a daily basis. So I've noticed a lot of people, they drink in public places and smoke in public places on the bus stations, let's say. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in Ukraine since forever. So that's what stood out for me. And a lot of people are smokers on the street, so they just walk in the center of Katowice, let's say, and they smoke. I don't like that, and I haven't seen that in a while. So yeah, I'm against old Poland. I like new Poland. So.
As I mentioned before, I think women's rights is also a problem in Poland, as it is in my country. And another problem, I don't know if it is a real problem, but I really don't like the fantasies about Middle Eastern life in Poland. Because when I go to bookshops, for example, I always see some Aisha, Fatima, some books, And these books are about mostly some Polish girl goes to some Middle Eastern country and marries with this harsh Middle Eastern Muslim man, and she is having crazy time there, and she's making this book. But for me, these books are mostly about the, violence. like psychological violence, limiting women in their private life, in their professional life. So for me, there is nothing to fantasize about this kind of culture, Middle Eastern values. I don't talk about all the Middle Eastern values, but conservative Middle Eastern values. So I don't see anything interesting about this. And also, I don't like when somebody approaches me. Most of the cases I had this, like, where is your hijab? Why don't you wear hijab? Not everybody is wearing hijab. In my country is not a Muslim country. You can choose your religion. We're secular, and Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, who is a great leader, founded my country. So I really don't like this kind of misconceptions about my country, and I just ignore when I hear something like this, because I'm not an object. I'm a woman and I have brain. I can think, I can read, I have a lot of things to share than wearing hijab. I don't want to be idealized like this.
So you're meeting the stereotypes in real life about Turkey?
Yeah, definitely. They think, for example, I was asked, I never forget, I was asked one time, how many camels am I in Turkey? Like, if somebody would like to buy me, how many camels they would offer me? First of all, we don't have camels. We don't have camels in Turkey. And the second thing, this is a very offensive question, and a person who grew up in Poland should know already that Turkey is not a country like this.